Hi, this is Denise.
Hey, this is Maggie.
Welcome to our podcast, Candor and Courage at Work.
Denise and I have known each other for a long time, a couple of decades, HR pros, and we thought it might be helpful if we got together and shared some of the things that we've learned along the way.
That's right, Maggie. Many struggle with being candid and being courageous, and we just want to use what we've learned to help you use those traits in your daily work life.
Here's hoping that makes you more successful. And here we go. Well, here we are. We are now officially in year two. And I know, it's just amazing. We got so much good feedback from listeners about our year in review. And it made me want to go back, and I have gone back and listened to a couple of specific episodes just to revisit them.
Oh, okay.
And then I also got a comment from somebody wanting to know the stories that we didn't tell in the episodes. And just a little teaser, they might still happen.
I'm trying to think how I would sanitize those stories. Maybe not the content, but just the identity.
Yeah. I think that's really the big challenge for both of us. Mm-hmm. We definitely want to be candid, and we're going to be courageous, but we certainly don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
No.
That would be the opposite of kind.
Correct.
Right.
And not nice.
and that would be not nice. All right. So we're going to be the social selves of when you don't have anything nice to say, we're not saying nothing.
Yes.
So anyway, we are at the time of year where folks really start thinking about the next year.
I'm already there.
I know. It October flies by, and then you're right in the throes of it's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're doing something fun for our listeners to kick off year two.
I think it's fun.
And what we want to do is invite listeners to get in on the opportunity to connect with us virtually, to talk about what their goals and aspirations are at work for 2026, probably specifically around candor and courage at work. But we've got some questions to kind of kickstart the process. So,
yes, and if you listeners, if you think of any question that we haven't thought of, please communicate with us through the website, and we'll tell you about that in a little bit. But because I always love to get questions from people, especially in my own line of work, hearing how other people interview or things like that. It's very helpful to get that fresh perspective.
Indeed.
But we thought of 5 questions that could challenge our listeners and maybe us.
Oh, true.
To be candid with ourselves around candor and courage at work. So question number 1. What impact do you want to be known for by the end of 2026? What do you want your brand to be?
I think that's a great big question.
It really is. But I think already I have in my mind like one adjective that I could spit out.
Okay.
But I won't. I'll wait for what that is going to be.
Holding that in abeyance.
When we meet with our lucky winner.
Okay.
But yeah, I think if you can simplify it and come up with that one word, that's going to be pivotal and I think achievable too. So.
I love that. Keep it simple is always good.
Right. So number 2, what strengths do you want to stretch or spotlight more boldly?
Well, that really gets at courage.
Mm-hmm.
And courage comes, as we know, in many different ways. And so revisiting those 9 different kinds of courage might be a good exercise if somebody picks this question to focus on, to really understand how they want to show up differently, what strength they want to focus on. Because we know in both candor and courage, it's a matter of stepping up in a small way once you've prepared, and then continuing to step up over time to build that skill.
And that question for me made me think, going back to question number one, what is the impact I want to have? What strength do I need to have that impact? So
Perfect.
you could get one impact and two questions
There you go.
accomplished.
There you go.
Okay, this one really hit home for me because I'm all about relationships and building that emotional bank account. And it is, what relationships or collaborations will elevate your work?
Mm, that one hits home for me as well because it's all about relationships. If we think about this positively, how can we build on those relationships that serve us so well now? But maybe on the flip side,
On the flip side, what came to mind for me is the relationships that I might struggle with.
yeah,
And just trying to come to a resolution, no pun intended, but come to a resolution that's going to benefit both the person I'm in the relationship with, the work relationship with, and my own sanity, if you will, when I have the struggle. But I also thought too is, what if there's somebody in my professional world that I don't know very well? And so that's an opportunity to say, okay, how can I get to know this person better? And how can that elevate my work or the person's work that I'm connecting with?
I love that. So within this question, really, there's 3 different ways to come at it. Build because it's good and you want to make it better. Focus on maybe repairing or building it differently so that it functions well, or starting from scratch.
Right.
Really not knowing someone well and exploring how developing that relationship could be beneficial. Love it.
And each one has great possibility, but I love that unknown one because it could be a complete surprise by the end of 2026 what you learn.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Excellent.
All right. So number 4, where do you feel a creative or strategic itch? I'm itching right now. A strategic itch that's ready to be scratched. What do you think on that, Maggie?
So, when I think about this, I am a future focused person. So I always am looking at the future. I've long joked that I live in the present and I tolerate the present because I'm always looking at the future. So for me, it is that opportunity to be strategic in, if I am developing, and again, I'm keeping this within the context of candor and courage at work, but if I'm building that skill strategically, what is the aspiration that can lead to? And I do have something in mind for that.
Oh,
but today is
okay.
not the reveal day. So how does that process of being so intentional in focusing on that strategic outcome? And, personally, I can speak to the creative. I know what that is, but that's a personal endeavor. It still requires courage because I happen to know I'm not very good at it. And so I want to get better. And that helps create balance. And maybe I'll learn something in that endeavor that will lend itself well to the work side, professional, strategic endeavor as well.
Yeah, I think for me, again, when I'm planning out my conversations with people using candor, I'm always like you, thinking in the future, thinking, how is this person going to react to this?
Right.
So yeah, it's almost like envisioning for yourself something that you want to achieve in 2026, and what may be creative or, again, strength that you would need to build to be able to achieve that. All right. So question number 5, what will challenge you in a way that feels exciting, not just exhausting?
And it's all about energy,
It really is.
right? So fear robs us of energy.
Okay.
And a lot of times that hesitation to be courageous, and I'm just speaking from things that are rolling through my mind right now of all the times where I reflected back on having taken an opportunity to be courageous and how that energized me, overcoming that fear and doing it anyway, as opposed to having something that I didn't do just draining the energy out of me because I recognized it was a missed opportunity that I didn't take.
I appreciate what you shared with me earlier about when we're in the mire, when we're mired down with a negative situation, how draining that is and how it does rob you of the resources you need in other areas of your work and personal life. And so for this one, when I read this question, I thought about how can I avoid letting my energy being drained or being pulled down from a situation that's really fruitless. So, and I want to be energized. I
Yeah.
want to get that reward of, man, this was really a good endeavor to undertake.
I wish I could remember, and I'm just not going to get this right, so I'll just tell you that up front. But that question of, when you enter a room, are you lighting it up or are you sucking the energy out of the room? And we've
Oh,
worked with
okay.
folks, I always think about the vampires and all that good stuff. I guess Halloween just having wrapped up is still top of mind.
I'm still eating candy.
Yay, me too. But, thinking about those other folks that you work with or endeavors that you're undertaking, and whether that is adding energy or taking energy, having those mental images a lot of times can really help identify how is this situation going to either feed me, drive me, or deplete me.
Yes, yes. And where do I want to spend my time? Because time is a valuable resource. So, the thing too, when you gave that visual of walking into a room, I'm going back to question number one. What's my brand?
Yep.
What do I want to be known for when I walk in the room? Do I want people to go, oh, hey, there's Denise? Or
Right.
do I want them to go, oh, great, there's Denise?
Right.
So, and I feel like energy is so contagious that when you're around people who want to be around you, that energy just feeds off of each other and really does have the power to be impactful in ways for everybody, not just the individual.
Yeah. And for those of us that maybe are less reserved more reserved, walking into a room, remember, acts of courage can be very small things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can tell you, my job description had a line in there that said, must smile when walking the halls.
Oh, okay.
And so sometimes smiling is a small act of courage, but coming into a room with a smile has a different impact than coming into the room with a grimace.
That's excellent. And I need to put that in my job description because I know I don't always do that. Sorry, coworkers. So, well, that's a lot to think about, and again, I encourage people to keep it simple, pick one thing. And maybe
Yes.
if you have a priority list, if you have a couple of things you want to work on that don't naturally dovetail where they're working together, they need to be worked in order, then maybe just keep it simple, because I don't know about you. I think I do know about you, though. I think I know about all of us that when we make these resolutions, there's so many people that just don't stick with that resolution. And that's why, we talked about the word resolution has a negative connotation
It
to
does.
it because everybody knows they're just fleeting.
Right.
So what I really want people to think about is, what am I going to do? What am I going to commit to achieve this year that's going to benefit me? So,
Well, and I'm excited to invite our listeners to go to candorandcourageatwork.com to get in on the opportunity to win a virtual meeting with us to talk about what your one question or two questions are, or even different questions that you'd already been thinking about in terms of looking ahead to 2026. We'll pick a lucky winner and connect with them, and then plan on sharing what we learned from them and what questions they chose to focus on, either from our offerings or from their own legwork. And we'll talk about that in February. So part of that intentionality is because we're heading into the end of the year and it's crazy to connect with
Right.
folks. But we also want to get past that New Year's hump. And then what typically happens in the New Year's with resolutions is...
What resolution?
Right. Right. Did I make a resolution?
Oh, yeah, that.
That, yes. Yeah. So at any rate, we're excited. Again, go to candorencourageatwork.com. There's a link there that will enable you to connect with us and leave us a message and your information, and we'll do a random drawing. We just ask that you do that by the end of November.
Please. And meanwhile, we'll work on our questions.
Yes, we will.
And share with the audience what we picked.
All right.
And you can keep us accountable,
right,
so that it's not a resolution, it's an evolution.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, Denise, let's see what our listeners bring. And I certainly look forward to connecting with them.
Yes, please do go to www.candorencourageatwork.com. We'll have instructions of where you can put your entry in, and we look forward to hearing all the submissions and hearing from our listener. So Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today for Candor and Courage at Work.
We hope you found some inspiration and encouragement in today's episode.
For more information or to connect with us, visit our website, candorandcourageatwork.com, and be sure to download future episodes wherever you listen.